that started to play out on around about the 25th with this huge drop out off here before pushing up quite nicely. We've got some strong bullish hands in the market right here to sweep out this liquidity here, and this is actually an Asian session, so we also had a nice Asian sweep here before coming back down, and this right here is actually an order block. Now I'm going to show you all that in this video, so stick around and go through it all with me. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our bias, okay, and our bias is going to show us that we are actually very bearish, as you can see all the way back here, all the way to the middle of August and even before. We are bearish, okay, so why look for a bullish trade here? This looked like a really nice setup for me, and I'm going to run through why. Now, like I said, I saw this playing out, but unfortunately I was not able to be on the chart at this time, so I didn't actually catch this trade. I was kicking myself for it, but it's all part and parcel of trading. Sometimes you catch them, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just have to wait for the next setup. If you miss it and you don't know whether you can get back in, sit on your hands. It's a good lesson to learn. So I'm going to press the replay button so that I can show you everything that popped up here and what I was looking at, okay, and explain to you the liquidity I see here, the liquidity below here, and why we entered like right here, or we would have entered right here because we didn't catch the trade. Okay, let's go through it. So if I come back here to, let's come back to where the change of character happens, pull this back in right here. Okay, as you can see here, we had a sharp drop off right here. This is actually the Asian session. Okay, Asian session starts at 7 p.m. for me, so it's actually right here. So right on the start of the Asian session, we have a massive drop off, and as soon as we hit the deck here, we get an immediate pullback. Okay, now it does take a few hours to get there. It's about 12 hours, 8 till about 8:30 in the morning. 8 here we're at. By the time it's finished, it's up here. So about 12 hours for this pullback to happen. Okay, so I'm looking here, I'm seeing strong hands in the market. We are also building up liquidity here, so we're going to be aware of that. Okay, all the way up here, we're building up liquidity. So we could easily come off one of these order blocks and drop back off. Okay, but what I'm looking at is how strong this change of character is, how quickly it comes back up to change the flow potentially of a bearish market. Okay, so if where are we? Down here. Okay, so here you can see we get our change of character. Okay, replay mode's a little bit delayed. It doesn't know that this candle has closed until we replay onto the next bar, but in real time, as soon as this ended and this one starts, this would show up the change of character. Okay, so we get the change of character. If you're using the Artium Pro sessions, you will know that we have also just had an Asian sweep to the upside as well. Okay, and we are inside the now London session. Okay, so I'm going to turn that back off and we're going to play this out and just watch what happens. Now, we just cleared some imbalance there. You saw the fair value gap before it disappeared. If you didn't, just rewind the video a little bit and go back and have a look. You can also see right here we have fair value gap here, fair value gap here, fair value gap. You can see the write-up I've got on my chart here. I did a Instagram post on this trade the other day, and I just figured I'd break it down in a video for anybody who wanted a little bit more insight into why I was watching this trade or watching this area play out for a potential trade. Like I said, we don't catch them all, but it is what it is. So the order block appears here, okay? And if you're drawing this by hand, you've got various places you can draw it, okay? I wouldn't be drawing any demand zone whatsoever in this area here, because this is the premium area and we do not want to buy at a premium. We always want to buy at a discount. So this would be under the 50% fib tool. Okay, so if we run our fib from here to here, okay, 50% is here, and we always want to be buying. If we're looking to go long, we always want to be buying in this discount area here. And if we're wanting to go short, obviously when it comes back up to go back down, we want to make sure that it comes back up past this area before we go back down. Okay, so we sell in a premium and we buy in a discount, just as you would like to do, you know, day to day. We've got our order block here. This is our demand zone. Okay, this is based on a 15-minute change of character. Okay, and we're just going to play it out a little bit. Now I'm going to try and do this. In fact, I'm just going to play it so it can go a little bit faster. Okay, here we get our first tap in. Okay, and our first tap in now, many people here will take this POI and run with it or refine it down to the 1 minute at this point. Okay, but the reason I didn't on here, the reason I wanted to see more here is purely because we've actually got fair value gaps below and we've got some liquidity build up below this order block. So at this point, I'm not convinced that it's going to turn around and go back up. So I'm just watching it here. This is not enough of a tap into this order block for any kind of entry. We're only just inside the discount zone here. So we're just watching. You know, we want to see a bit more of a tap. And as liquidity starts to build up here, you start to get a better picture for what's going on. Okay, all this here, liquidity build up. Okay, we can get our little tool here, and all this here is just liquidity build up. Okay, so if we've got a low and then a higher low and then a higher low, all below these higher lows is all liquidity build up. Okay, so let's play it out a little bit more. Okay, and more liquidity build up. All of this, we're building liquidity all up here, right above this order block. Okay. And then we start to come back down. Right, at this point here, we've taken out the liquidity here. All right, we've taken out the liquidity here. We've still got the liquidity build up down here. This is right above this order block. Okay, so as it starts to come back down, what I'm expecting here is for people to be impatient and start getting in to go long, for people that basically are induced into the market. Okay, so we'll keep playing here. Okay, we see we've got a big pool of liquidity right here that's just been taken out by this drop, and we've left some imbalance behind. Okay, but at this point here, we have not cleared any liquidity here, here, or here, and this isn't a decent enough tap in for me, so I want to see more. Okay, slow it down a bit, and so we can catch the next tap here. Okay, we can say this is all very well and good in hindsight, and it is very well and good in hindsight because we know what's going to happen, right? But when we're watching this and watching this play out, we can see this happen and we can see this build up. And this is why it's really good to go back over trades that we may not have taken or we may not have even seen, but we go back and we back test and we see scenarios, okay, like this, and we can talk ourselves through them. Okay, so whether you do that by yourself or you do this watching a video that somebody else is demonstrating, it's entirely up to you, but it's always a good idea to do it. Get some screenshots, mark up your chart. What do you see? What actually happened? And how you can put what you see into your future plans for your trading. Okay, you don't want to be trading without a plan. Now, my plan here is, as you can see here, we run with the expectation for the demand order block to be fully mitigated. Okay, because we've got a huge amount of liquidity build up right here. Right here at this point, we've got pretty much equal lows, relative equal lows without zooming in, I don't know, but they look like equal lows to me. Okay, so I'm expecting these equal lows to be swept. All right, and because I know there's liquidity below here and I know there's imbalance below these areas as well, you know, I've also got an expectation that price might continue to move down to this area. So I'm also going to be waiting now. I'm not going to be taking a trade on the 15-minute. I'm going to be waiting now for a deeper mitigation. Okay, past these 2 points, I want a deeper mitigation before dropping down onto the lower time frame and then actually looking for a confirmation entry on the lower time frame. Okay, so let's take a look at the point in which we will drop down. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit slower here. Okay, we're taking out some more of that imbalance right there. Okay, before we come back down. And this happens relatively quick. Now, if you didn't know, okay, if you didn't know, this jump here is pretty much at the time in which news came out of London that the Bank of England was going to get involved in buying bonds to help with the economy, basically. As you can see down here, the price on GU is so low. I don't remember it being that low forever. And let's just digress a little bit and take a look. We go on the weekly, and this is the current price. and let's just pull it in, go back as far as we can go, and see what we get. Okay, we're going back to 2003. It's not been this low since 2003. The whole chart. Okay, it's bottomed out. So let's go back to the 15-minute. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, news came out of London here that said that London was about to start buying government bonds again. And we had this huge candle here. And what this huge candle does is it sweeps this liquidity to the downside, okay, taps into this order block a little bit more, and it also takes out liquidity to the upside and clears liquidity just above here. So this is also leaving you with a little bit of a conundrum or indecisiveness, because now you're like, well, where's most of the liquidity lying? Well, obviously most of the liquidity is lying to the upside, because we've come down from a bearish position, and there's only a little bit of liquidity here. We're at an all-time low, and we've just heard news that the Bank of England is going to be buying bonds. Okay, this all put together leads me to a higher bias for a long, like I said. Unable to get in the market. I knew this news had come out, unable to get into the market, unable to get on the charts. Sometimes life is just that way. From here, we tap in, okay, and we can drop down at this point if we want to. This is the 15-minute chart, or we can play out a bit more, okay? Now here you can see we fully mitigate at this point, fully mitigate this order block. So because this order block's gone, what I'm going to go and do right now is grab my layers and chuck on where the order block was. Okay, so this is now our 15-minute mitigated demand OB. Okay, so we've fully mitigated it and we've swept it. We've taken out the imbalance just below it. We have not moved down to take out this imbalance. So right here, what we're going to do is we're just going to watch and see how it play out. We can't predict the market. We don't know what it's going to do. When you plan trades or you forecast what something's going to do, in reality, what we're doing is making a plan for if that was to occur. Okay, and if it doesn't occur, then we don't have a trade. So we're not trying to predict the future or anything like that. We're waiting to see what happens, and if something happens that we like the look of and it feels like it could go the way we want it to go, then we take a trade. If it doesn't, we stop out. If it does, we take a win. Okay, from here we're going to drop down to the 2-minute chart. We could also drop down to the 1-minute chart. Okay, but for this one we're going to drop down to the 2-minute chart. It's entirely up to you how low you want to drop down. Obviously the lower you go, the more false kind of flags you'll get. The 1-minute chart versus 2-minute chart, there's not a lot in it, but I will show you what the 1-minute chart looked like if you was to drop down to that in a moment. Okay, so as you see, this is the mitigated demand area on the 15-minute chart. And now what we're going to do for our confirmation entry is we're going to look for a change in character to the upside. Okay, so we had a 15-minute change in character down here that created this order block, but this order block was just too, like the price action right above it, the amount of liquidity below it, you know, this could carry on dropping at this point, could carry on dropping. So if you want to enter on the start of this and put your stop below it, you just stop out. You stopped out here, right? If you want to enter on the 50% line and put your stop below here, fine, go do it. But your risk to reward is nowhere near as good. Okay, and it's just a risk entry. Okay, so on this one, I was looking for a confirmation entry. This was a risk entry if you'd have taken that, and you're looking at a 3-to-1. Okay, not bad. You can take a 3-to-1, win. Okay, but yeah, we wanted a confirmation entry. So we drop down to the 2-minute chart. And excuse me while I fatten up my candles so you can see what's happening. Right, so here, okay, we've got our swing high and our swing low. What we want to see, change your character. So we wait, and we wait, and we don't get a change here because this is not closed above, this is just wicked through. Okay, And now we've closed. Okay, so now we've got to change a character. I click this on one more and it knows we've done it. Now we've got to change a character. Right, remember on the 2-minute chart. Okay, so now we can look for an entry on this order block that has been created by this change a character. Now you can enter wherever you want. You can enter on the entry of it, or you can enter on the 50% line. Okay, it's your choice. Okay, but we are entering on the very start of it. And the reason I'm doing that on this is because I don't see any imbalance above it. I generally don't really like order blocks without imbalance above it. I like to have the extra confluence. But because this change of character is actually my confluence for this change of character OB, we're going with it. Like I said, if we stop out, we stop out. Okay? But also, like I said, we didn't stop out and had no chance of stopping out because I missed the trade. Okay, just so nobody can come back and say, well, you're talking about trades in hindsight. I did not take this trade, okay? I missed it. But anyway, this is the things I look for when I'm trading. So I figured I was going to go through this anyway, so why not share my thoughts with anybody that wants to hear them. Okay, so we chuck on our long, okay? And where do we target? Okay, we're not going stupid or anything like that. Okay, you see a TP coming across here. Let me scroll in so we can see why. Okay, this is the high, okay, that came from the low that caused the change of character. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. All right, so that's the high there. Then we also have an 8R that comes to this high. Okay, check it out again. We have down here 5R, which comes to the top of here. This is a high here. You can see swing high right here and this trade here. So we've got a 5R, an 8R and a 10R trade, depending on what you want to do. Here you could take them off in percentages. You could take 30% off the table here or 50% off the table here and then let it run, or you can take percentages off of whatever. Or you can just let it run, the 10R, and break even when you get up to 5R or something like that, but just let it run. Okay, however you do your stuff. Let's scroll back in here. We're wanting this to just tap us in, okay, and we just don't want it to come further down and stop us out. Okay, so here you can see we actually come down and we tap into the order block. Okay, then we go back out, come back in again. Okay, and this is on the 2-minute chart. This is happening pretty quick. This is all in, will be 8 minutes. All right. Okay, we've got a strong push up here and we've got a fair value gap here. Okay, it's now demonstrated there. All right, and that's it. From there, you just do your thing with your trade, right? However you manage your trade that you're in. Okay, and it takes a minute to play out to the full 10R trade. And I'm just gonna play it out here. We hit 8R pretty fast. It comes up through here and smashes 8R pretty fast. It hangs short of 10R for a little while. What I'm actually gonna do is jump to the 15-minute, because that'll go faster. I'll keep you all day. Okay, and there we hit the 10R. Now we could have come up to the 15-minute if we wanted another TP area, and we could have brought it all the way up here. I personally probably wouldn't have done that. Oops, I don't want to move that on this one, but that would have given us a 15 to 1, and you know, you can just get what you want out of it and move your risk to break even or more, and then just let it run. Okay, but we took it to that high, which was 10. Oh, it's actually 11. Maybe I took it a bit high then, it was 10. And that's it really. So you just be aware of where price is going, where price has been, what it's left behind, where it's left liquidity, if there's liquidity build up, okay, and build it into your plan when you plan on trading. So that was my breakdown for that trade that didn't manage to get in. It started with the huge drop on the 25th and it finished playing out on the 29th. If you went for the 10R, you would have had to wait till the 29th for that to play out. Otherwise, you would have got it on like the 28th in the morning. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, please go ahead and give the video a big like, smash that button hard 3 or 4 times, subscribe to the channel. Have a great day, enjoy the rest of your trading week, and we'll see you in the next one.